Hello, friends. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you could make it. My name is Jake Lyons. In this video, I am going to be talking about the third step of, as you can see here, the 5 steps of buying a home in Chicago, which is actually finding your home in Chicago. You would think that maybe that would be the first step, but as I laid out in steps 1 and 2, the first steps are actually arranging your financing and finding a real estate agent that you can trust. I think laying the groundwork of those two things before you even create any online searches or step foot into a home that you're interested in, I think is key and just wise to just to make sure that you're on a good that you have a good foundation to start on to have success in your home buying journey. And this is so this is a fun part, right? So this is the reason why HGTV is a thing. This is why, a big reason a lot of, Instagram is a thing, and Instagram's a thing for, I guess, a lot of reasons, but this is the sexy part. This is where, you get to fill out your your priorities and figure out where you want to live. I mean, it's all very exciting, maybe stress worthy, maybe, you might, maybe for you, excitement isn't quite the right word for it. Maybe it is anxiety. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's, maybe it's a whole mix of emotions going on with this. But ultimately, this is what I think it's fair to say that what most people think of when they think of the home search is the actual home search part of it. So that's what we're getting into today. If it's your first time meeting me, my name is, as you can see here, Jake Lyons. I am a agent with Berkshire Hathaway here in the Chicago area. I am the owner of the ChicagoHomeSource.com, which we'll actually be getting into a little bit later in this very video, and also co-owner of ChicagoLuxuryApartments.com. So whether you're looking to buy or rent, invest, sell, I got you. So, all right, fun part here. Prioritize your needs and wants. Communicate your needs, wants, and your pre-approval with the agent. So you'll notice I am sort of wrapping up steps 1, 2, and 3 right here, all into this one bullet point. I'll touch more on what this means here in a slide or two. This is kind of going over what steps you want to do to make sure that you're having success within this steps within steps. You should be realistic as you're embarking on this journey. This is another situation why having that pre-approval on hand is such a big deal. Knowing exactly what parameters that you should be staying within. Hopefully you've already done some groundwork yourself, determining what areas you want to live in based on whatever criteria that you think is important to you, whether that be schools or proximity to certain landmarks. You want to live closer to the lake. You want to live closer to downtown. You want to live in a more, family-centric area, whatever it is that you're looking for. Those are things like I touched on in the last video about finding a real estate agent. Those are things that your real estate agent legally and ethically can't really guide you to. So those are things that you'll have to be, you have to know those things, come up with those things yourself. But from here, be realistic is that's just, and I'll touch on that part later too. Is that you can't you can't buy something that doesn't exist. In the best of times, you're going to be limited to the options on hand. And so when I was talking about break down your priorities, so this is what I mean by that. This is what I always recommend to people when they are starting their journey here, is to break things down in terms of a list of must-haves, nice-to-haves, and must-not-haves. And it's important to actually write these things down. Even go as far as to write them on a note card or something that you can have in your back pocket and be able to bring it out. And as you're walking through a house or a property, I mean, you should have a decent idea of what that property is offering, the features that property has even before you schedule a showing. But, in case you have some more specific things that maybe you just can't know those types of things until you actually get into the property, which does happen, all the time. There's a decent amount of catfishing going on out there too, right? You can't base your you can't base everything just based on on the pictures and copy in the listing. You definitely have to go in there and check stuff out yourself sometimes. So, this is just an example I came up with of how this might look. So your must-haves can look something like, it must be a townhouse, must be in the Lincoln Park area, has to be 3 bedrooms, 3+ bedrooms, or 3 bedrooms, not 2, not 4, it must be 3. Must have 1 garage spot, must be, at least 1,500 square feet, and obviously a big one here, must be under $400,000. Okay, so these would be, this would be that kind of top of the funnel, absolutely must-haves for any place that you are going to seriously consider. Okay. Now you can have the nice-to-haves. Okay, so you must have 1 garage spot, but you'd be nice to have 2. Maybe you're looking to get a second car, or maybe you have 2 cars, but at least as long as 1 can be in the garage, and maybe you can just find street parking or something like that for the other one, or rent something on ParkWiz or Spot Hero or something like that would be okay. But preferably if you had your choice, you would rather have 2 garage spots. Close to the lake, like I talked about before. Proximity to certain landmarks. Lake is definitely one I hear a lot. Chicago's lakefront is hard to beat. I don't know that there is a major metropolitan city in the world that can really beat. I think we have like 14 miles of parkland, undeveloped, for the most part, parkland along the lake, which is just crazy. So that's obviously a huge draw. A lot of people want to be next by that. Nice to have hardwood floors. Maybe it's not necessarily a must-have, but if they have tile or some other kind of hybrid, maybe that's okay, but be preferable to have hardwood floors. A balcony, you get the idea, right? I probably don't need to keep going on. Eat-in kitchen, open floor plan. These are must-haves and nice-to-haves. Okay, and then if you I think you get where I'm going with this. The must-not-haves. I'm getting fancy with my my animations here. You guys like that? It's like 8th grade level PowerPoint that I have going on here, but it gets the job done. Must-not-haves. So something along the lines of this can't be on a busy street. You can't have carpet. More on this later. Can't have too high of an HOA fee, whatever that number is to you, and also your lender will help you determine that too, because HOA fees and taxes and things like that do play a role in how much you can qualify for, because they see things like that, and those are monthly expenses, and if those are too a HOA fee that's $300 versus $500, that $500 one, well, that's $200 now that you can't go toward what you've been pre-approved for in terms of a monthly payment. So now the amount of house that you can buy is lower, based on that. So that's definitely a big deal to consider. Older construction, a lot of people like different things. Some people like that vintage look. A lot of people like the new construction, somewhere in the middle. It's up to you. And, guys, obviously these are just a few of the hundreds, if not thousands, of criteria that you can have. Just wanted to give a little little example of what this might look like. And I do highly recommend that you do this, that you actually take the time. I know it might seem a little childish and like, I know these things, I know what I want, right? But just do it. I promise it works. So from there, you can start a online property search. And allow me, if you will, to indulge in a little bit of self-promotion. I'm going to recommend that you use the best website of all time ever, at least if you're looking in the Chicago area, and that is the Chicago Home Source. Let's see what the Chicago Home Source looks like, yeah? So this is the website that I own and run. A few of you watching may have stumbled upon this already, and maybe that's how you're watching this video right now. So, and if that is you, then this isn't anything you don't already know. But on the off chance it isn't, this is how this website works. So the front page here is going to be all just kind of a generic, almost all newly. This is just in order of the most newly listed properties in Chicago. Over here on the side, you can break things down by neighborhood. I've got a bunch of neighborhoods, definitely not all the neighborhoods, but most of the ones that I get the most questions on, at least. You can do a market report, get some good data on whatever market you're looking at. You have a mortgage calculator here. You have up-to-date interest rates right here, 2.65, crazy stupid lowest that it was in the ballpark of lowest that it's ever been. This is a really great tool if you are an investor or somebody looking for a multi-unit and wants to know what the rent is going for, or what your potential rent might be in the area that you're looking to buy. Go in here, type in the address, click on, get that report, and it'll be sent to your email. It's a great resource that honestly not enough people are using. I don't know if I guess it's kind of a random little green button that kind of gets hidden, but it's a very powerful tool. I'm integrated with greatschools.org, so I can't really talk to you much about schools, but you can definitely come here and search for the areas that you're looking for, and it'll be based on, they'll give you certain grades of how good the schools are and in the area and that kind of thing, based on reviews and test scores and graduation rates and all kinds of things. But that's actually not what I want to touch on here. One of my favorite things about this website, one thing that I took a lot of pride in making sure that visitors to this site have access to, is the advanced search. So this is a way to really narrow down the exactly what you're looking for. So you can break things down by home. So think house, condo, townhouse, just vacant land, and multi-res, multi-unit, multi-family, whatever you want to call it. So, you got your basic price, beds, baths, things like that. Any website you go to is going to have that, but where it starts differentiating itself is in all the criteria that you can manipulate here to get exactly what you're looking for. So, are you looking for, so say you're looking for just a condo. Okay, so attached. What kind of attached? So you can see, condo duplex. You're looking for more of a loft. Are you looking for a penthouse, split level? Are you looking for that townhouse? So townhouse and condos will all be under the attached umbrella. So that's why the townhouse is on here, even though, this is the only one checked, but one might cancel each other out if you don't have them both checked and you are looking for a condo and a townhouse. But, studio, detached type. Okay, you're looking for a house? What kind of house are you looking for? Are you looking for, a 1.5 sort of split level, or are you looking for a 2-story house? Things like that. Parking, garage space, heating. What kind of heating? What kind of air conditioning? Are you looking for specific amenities? Got all the amenities you could ever think to search for right here. In-unit laundry, that's a big deal, right? So Most people would just skip all this other stuff and just hit in unit if that's what you're looking for, or you could hit common area. Association dues, we were just talking about that. Association dues, huge deal. If you are paying a high association due, you probably want to know what is included in that association due, that HOA fee. What I'm paying $800 a month for an HOA fee. Okay, well, if I'm doing that, what am I getting out of that? Okay, do I have a doorman? Do I have, is gas taken care of? Is heat? Is insurance? Is my internet taken care of? I see that a lot. Parking, all kinds of things like that. Exterior features. So this is where you would come if you want to that balcony we talked about, or a deck, or or the roof deck is something that a lot of people really want. Get out a little the fresh air, like the 4 months of the year that Chicago is hot, warm enough to spend a considerable amount of time outside. Actually, that's not true. Chicago's all over the place, but we have a few bad months a year, but I don't know. It's fine. I think it's fine. I'm a Midwesterner though. I'm used to it. Interior features, so that's going back to the type of flooring. Hardwood floors. Right? If you absolutely have to have hardwood floors, you can find that in here. Somewhere in here. Yeah, wood laminate. If you're looking for storage, just go through here, see what pops out at you. Age, that's that other thing we were talking about. Age is a pretty big deal when it comes to the type of property, how it looks, how it feels. Exposure, so this is one that you would click on if you think it's important. What direction your building or your windows are facing. Essentially, you want to make sure you have that lake view or that city view or park view or whatever view. Basement, different types of basements. This is where, if you're looking for a multi-unit, make sure that you come here, and make sure that if you're only looking for a three unit building, for instance, you would come here and do that. Waterfront, that's just a yes or no. New construction, that's just a yes or no. Can owners rent? This is a big one for you investors out there. So if you're buying a condo and you think maybe someday you can you might want to rent that out, well, you don't want to buy in a building that doesn't allow rentals or has a very low cap rate. So this is, you can come here and say, yes or no. Yes, the owner can rent in this building. Let's see, terms. Oh, it's not coming up right now for some reason. I have to reach out to them with that. Taxes, that's a huge deal. Again, going back to the amounts that you can get pre-approved for, or not even pre-approved for, but actually fully approved for once you find your building. The taxes are going to play a large role in, again, just how much house you can buy. Distress, foreclosure, short sales. Again, back to you investors. I love my investor clients. These are a big deal here. These are, again, just kind of all yes or no's. Yep. And then as for, the areas that you're looking for, you would come over here for that. So, just click on here. Now, honestly, this is one part that I don't actually love about how this is. You have to use both hands a little bit here and hit the control button. Like, say you wanted to look for places in Ashburn and Auburn, Gresham, and Avondale, let's just say. So when I did that, I had to, actually hit the control key, or I don't have a Mac. I don't actually know what that thing means right there. But, so that's how that works. I mean, it's not that hard, but kind of can trip people up sometimes. So these are the general areas, and then these are the neighborhoods, the more specific neighborhoods within these broader areas. So that's how that works. If you're not actually looking for within Chicago, you can come over here, and these are just pretty much every city in the greater Chicagoland area. A lot of options here, right? So anyway, so that's how that works. So gonna come back over here to my slide. Now, on the off chance that you can't find what you're looking for on the website, or if your search is really just that specific, or maybe you need even more up to date, updates than the once a day that the Chicago Home Source will be emailing you. Maybe you really want to make sure that you're getting sent properties as soon as they hit the market, not even once a day, but as soon as it hits the market. Or yeah, like I said, if you're looking for something where those criteria just don't quite do it for you, that's where you contact your real estate agent, and they will make an MLS search. For those of you that probably don't know what the MLS is, stands for the Multiple Listing Service, and that is essentially the database that real estate agents have access to. That's a lot of the dues that we pay every year pretty much just go to having access to that. It's a huge database with a ton of tools, and it's worth every penny. Honestly, it's pretty great. So, but you do have to have a real estate agent set that up for you. Regular non-licensed people, don't have access to it. So that's something that you'll have to figure out with your agent. Just going to cover a couple tips when looking for a home. The first one here that I'm going to cover is don't lose the forest through the trees. What I mean by this, when I mentioned those don't haves or must not haves, when I mentioned that I would be touching on the carpet situation again. Okay, so don't get so caught up in little details that it ruins the whole deal, or that it ruins, if everything else is perfect and there's just this one little thing, you can change that. Like things like carpet, even countertops, backsplashes, even things as small as just the color of the walls being wrong or curtains being wrong, just very cosmetic things like that is just not, it's not worth, you can easily change these things anytime you want. I've actually had clients completely blow up deals, after the inspection comes out and the seller doesn't want to pay for, $200 more worth of repairs, and the buyer, everything else is perfect about the place, but they decide that, that they don't want to do, little things like that. It's like, if everything else about the place works for you, and that's a big if. I mean, maybe, don't get me wrong, trust your gut, right? But if that really is all that it comes down to, I would recommend not letting the details, like little details like that, really get in the way of the bigger scheme of things here. The other tip that I would say is that the market dictates reality. Okay, so there's a lot of forces at play here. There's supply and demand. It's like any other market, any other industry in that we know of in existence. Basically, I mean, housing is right there with it. So if you're looking for the type of place for under a budget, and that thing just doesn't exist, there's not a whole lot that can be done. And if you're looking to get a crazy deal, and the house you want is worth $500,000, and you trying to get it for $200,000, it's just not going to work. And I say that, and you probably think that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I mean, you'd be surprised at just how people think about these things sometimes. So your real estate agent can do a lot, but he or she is no genie. They can't fabricate something that isn't there. They can optimize things that are there. They can look for the best possible scenario and make the most of it. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, and then just a sub point to that is that the market changes every second of every day. So, just because something maybe worked a month ago doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to work today. Apologies for the siren if you hear that in the background. I live about 3 blocks away from a 3 blocks away from a police station, a fire station, and a hospital. So sirens all day, every day here. I'm surprised that's the first siren that I've had trying to shoot one of these. So that's a good good track record, actually. Anyway, so those are the tips for this. I mean, you know, you guys have watched HGTV. You guys have watched House Hunters, and I'm sure you all know people who have been through the home buying process, and this is probably the step that you guys talked about the most. So that's, I probably didn't go as into detail on certain things as on this one as I did other videos, but wanted to at least touch on it because it obviously is a very clearly is a very important step. So, all right, well, that's all I have for this video. You know what to do. If you liked it, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. Please comment. If you missed the last two videos, there should be a link to it somewhere in the vicinity of this video. Also, follow the trail to the next video where I'll be talking about, okay, once you find your house, now what's the next step? Next step is negotiating your offer. That's always one that gets the heart pumping a little bit. So that's always fun. And yeah, go ahead and reach out. I've been putting my contact info on here pretty much on every slide. So, if that's, reach out with any questions, comments, concerns. Could be irrelevant, could be random. I don't really, just say hi, whatever you want to say. Happy to hear from you. That is all I have for now. Thank you. Goodbye.